Hello, my name is Pumelela Push Nqelenga, and this is,
Nomcebisi Moyikwa.
and we are part of the production of Two.
Yes.
So, Nomcebisi, I'd like to know, what is this piece about?
Wow. I think after the performance, we did say that we are establishing what the piece is about. But I think, as we know, that initially we were dealing with, I think, Temi, who's the writer of the show, we're dealing with this idea, not idea, dealing with rape, and we're also dealing with two-ness in terms of a person who's not there and a person who's there. So the real self and the spiritual person, and also how to. I think the interesting part of it is the meaning that keeps becoming or evolving within these ideas of a she and this very pertinent idea of umalume, which I think we always talk about. Wonke umuntu always says, hey, uyamazi umalume, and always make up a joke about everyone has a malume, and there's quite an interesting conversations that are going around the malume, about his drunkenness, about his naughty behaviors that are sometimes get hidden at the back door by either the grandmother or the mother. I think that's where the piece says that our grandmother loves him, right? So we must keep him around. I think we are grappling with those ideas and also trying to, in the Toni Morrison manner, trying to let the language evolve even further to find more meanings of the language so that it does not stick to one thing, right? So we keep finding it. So I think that's what we've been talking about.
Thank you, Nomcebisi. Could you ask me a question now?
I will ask you a question. So, as a person, I think in the show we did say that it's a very difficult show to do and or to perform. What do you find the most difficult?
I think it's the dance between languages. It's a dance between the language of the dance, the language of the text, the language of the visuals. It's a difficult one because at times you are in this and you're out of this other one, and it's a kind of a quick transitions to all these languages and vocabularies that kind of make this meaning that you're talking about. I also find it difficult in that it's a story that keeps on, like you say, becoming. So the more we do it and the more experience we have in our lives around about loneliness, on mother, on bodies, on what else? On God, they keep on changing over time. And so therefore the language and our vocabulary kind of changes. So there's a kind of an honesty that needs to be there always, which is not easy because you really want to like do what you did before, ne? Then you're like, why are we rehearsing too much? Must it, you know? This one, it forces you, be still, and say, okay, deep in Goku when it comes to this notion of umzimba, deep in Goku when it comes to a notion of umama, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Come watch the play so you know the other elephants. But what is also lovely is this language. It's a sort of like a conversation between me, you, and Samantha Hammerschlag, who wrote the play, who designed it. And that conversation keeps changing. So it becomes difficult then to create these bodies working together because she's the other absent body, if that makes sense. Yeah, in Zima, it's not an easy piece, I think. I sometimes don't understand it because I feel as if my body knows ahead of me. Did you hear? And then go. I didn't know you could, but okay. And there's something about listening, not just to the logic of this story and its narrative. It's about listening to the quality and the texture of that it's already giving to us. It says that we cannot be real. Hence we call it, what do we call it? Magical physical theater realism. There's no such genre. But I think we are getting there. And I think because we had that concoction of a genre, it allows us the freedom to really explode those vocabularies and the languages that Toni Morrison inspires us to look through. Nomcebisi, what was the fun part? Hey, because fun is there. What is the fun part about performing too?
I think it's not. I think for me, it's not about performing too. I think when we started the show, we're like three academics at UKZN who are teaching drama and performance studies, who were in that moment marking 300 papers, and we were dying spiritually, right? And also because our work, right, really feeds on our spirits.
Yeah.
So I think think when we came together within a week and a half.
Yeah, we created this piece in 10 days. We're not proud of that number, but we are proud that we made it.
I think the space in itself, I always have fun with you and Temi, and because also we hold each other, and I think, especially in the academy, it's important that we have women who hold each other and really, really support each other's visions and the desires, right? So I think that's what's that's more exciting for me, and it's quite a precious thing that I really hold very dearly. I think my last question, because I'm really reflecting at this moment, what is your relationship with my character? Because I think today, besides the technical things, when you said Umalume is very gentle and is very soft, and you are really playing out your memories through me and with me, right? And the memory of Malume, I kind of get to play it out for you, right? Becoming Malume. And that for me was a little bit, because I really crawl and I step on your body and I stand on top of my body. And the dualities of having to be a spirit person and the traumatic memory also that you have as a character as Pogazi. For me, today I found it and it was a really shock. So how do you relate to my character in relation to that?
Academically speaking, just kidding. No, I think what happened today, I've always visioned it that way. You stamping on my body in that way, but I never told you, now that I think about it.
Right.
And I think that's important because I think even for us in the script today, we went, oh, does that mean that now?
Right.
So the relationship constantly shifts, Nomcebisi, and it only shifts if I listen. And if I listen to you and I listen to your spirit of the character, then it begins to shape each other. There's something about that work, Nomcebisi, I don't know about you. It kind of takes its own flight.
Right.
And it become these vessels getting that kind of work with it. It's not to say we are not in it. It just means that we kind of become secondary. Our logical sense becomes more secondary than the performance itself. So I felt that with your character this time, I felt that she was, I know it sounds crazy, but I felt like I wasn't alone this time. And that when I did say for I'm alone, it felt like it became less and less and less. And maybe throughout time, when we do this play in 5 years' time, who knows, it might change, or alone. I don't know, and I think that's the quality of the work, is that it becomes a shifting, and it only becomes shifting if that truth is there. But unyanisile, when you step on my body, yo. And then I understood Nachman when the body becomes paralyzed in sleep. And you're going, and Nachman is uncle, unfortunately, at the time. You see all these spiritual things that become to be other characters, other beings. That Nachman is not something far-fetched.
Right.
That you are even Zimbin. And it's true, though, because you can feel it, you know. So, Samantha Hammerschlag. Say her name.
I've never had said her name. Samantha Hammerschlag.
Samantha Hammerschlag is the playwright. She's also the designer. And she's also the puppeteer. Is that what you call them? The shadow puppetry. Could you explain to the viewers out there, what was how did you feel? Okay, we can't speak for Samantha, obviously. Right. How did you find Samantha's vision? One, as a designer, two, as a writer, obviously, and of course, as a partner within, as I said, that other body that's off stage.
Her vision. I mean, she's a really complex human. But I think I'll answer the shadow situation, right? I think I'm going to begin with, because I don't like isolating the shadows as the visual thing. But I think our realities require us to scream and to sing in different ways, right? Sometimes you sing literally, sometimes you use text and you say it, sometimes you use movement, sometimes you shout, sometimes you do shadows, sometimes you require something else, a music from Uzimqawana, like ancestry to come, right? So our realities allows us to have conversations in the different forms, right? And I think this idea I think as I'm thinking with her, this idea of shadow, because she's working with two, she's working with something that's supposedly not there, right?
A trace, a sort of
trace,
like
right?
a double figure, yeah.
Yeah, now she brings it for you to see it, right? And it becomes part of us, because I think the one with the rainbows, the shadows sometimes swallow us and they become part of us, and also we become shadows at some instance
Nomcebisi.
among the other shadows that are projected. So I think that's what I'm thinking about.
Samantha Hammerschlag is an amazing writer, an amazing partner to work with. Nqelenga, you're not bad as well. You're amazing as well. I've known Nqelenga for 10 years now. I think playing with you has been the best. Well done. I know I'm at 5, but I promise you I'll improve.
So I'll ask you that. Pumelela, can you tell me about the importance of the Vavasati International Women's Festival, and also it being at the South African State Theatre, and what is that conversation, what is that saying to you? And are you wanting to elaborate more about it being here? Firstly, the importance of it, and it being at the State Theatre.
Well, I mean, I think at first glance, we must admit that a women's festival is quite disruptive. There's something about us being in the space already that's it's not easy for some reason. And I think a women's festival like this is not just about putting just a platform out there. There's the undercurrent notion that women are creators, women are makers, women can actually be part of the industry itself. I feel as if the shift in ideas are not going to happen only on stage, which is a very powerful thing that I noticed. Because one, it brought me to the State Theatre, it brought me to the industry, it brought me to see where we are located and how we are located in this industry. And for me, it's not on stage. It's in the in-between spaces. It's working with the stage managers. It's working with the management. It's working. You start feeling that the industry, how does it position our bodies as women, not only just to see us on stage, because you always want to see our bodies,
Right.
but they don't want to work with these bodies.
Right.
And they don't want to be amongst these bodies that can be transformative and imaginative. And the fact that we can shift and change and be fluid is always a disruptive and dangerous thing.
Sometimes with this notion, we are giving you the space, right? So go to the space, don't come to us. You know what I'm saying? So don't be in the midst of our work. There's a space that we've given you, work there. So which is what's been, I think, which is how we were positioned when we got here. You meant to perform, deal with the performance. But the performance doesn't come up until we have a conversation and we navigate how together, right?
Yes.
We can make this thing not just I'm giving you a chance, right? But we can have a conversation.
That this is a home for every single artist in this country. That we should have a women's festival in September, in October, December maybe. In other words, the fact that there's a women's festival for me is just a site of resistance in the first place. And I think that's important for us. It's not saying that, oh, here's a platform only, like I say. It says there's a problem.
Right.
There's a problem in the industry. Hence, we have to come together. Masi, xoxeni. And it also means as women, what are we saying? What are we doing? What are the conversations we can talk about? What's happening in Cape Town? What's happening in Durban? Do all those kind of things. So for me, it's important. I like what you're saying, that we've given you a space. We don't want that, I think, anymore.
Right.
The festival is saying there's a red alert.
Yeah.
Something is not okay. And I think that, for me, has given me that kind of insight.
It's very, to be always put in a space of resistance is quite tiring. Yeah.
But we're very happy to be here, and thank you so much to Vavasati.
Thank you to Mamela. Thank you to Mamela.
And keep going, Mamela.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In spirit, we are holding you.